Welcome back to another video with Kiss Electrical. Today we are doing a trim out on a floor box. As you see, this floor box was put in the concrete slab of this customer's living room actually, and we piped it in. I say I piped it in and put the floor box in there and then run the wire there on the rough end side of it. And then I taped it up because it was hot inside that box. And I am going to go through the process of how I install these floor boxes. Now, some of these wire methods may not be legal in your area because one of the processes, I spoke with the customer and asked him what he thought about it and how I do things. And he agreed that he didn't want this specific process to happen, so I didn't do it. So basically what you do is just take out the trim of this box and this floor box rather, and then you just lay out all your parts out so you can see everything you got. And the wire that you're supposed to pull inside this floor box either need to be THHN or UF because it's a wet location. So I began assembling the pieces together. Now on this box cover there are when I took out the screws, there are some different kind of screws. I think there's 3 1032s and then a couple of 632s, or vice versa. There's a couple of 832s and 632s to put all these pieces together to make them fit and work right. So I didn't want to do all these twists with my hand, so I brought out the drill, get them screws in there so it'll hold that plate. And then this part, I'm just breaking off the little tabs that are going to get in the way of how this receptacle fits inside of this. So I'm just breaking it away nice and easy with my clines. Took the 632s out because we're going to use those later to attach it to the trim box. And then what you have to do is this round concrete floor box. Well, it's not, it's a PVC box, but it's in the concrete. And I'm taking my multi-tool and cutting it flush. Now you just got to be careful and take your time when you do this. I come in just a bit at an angle and you want to be just exactly the height of the floor. So being that this floor has already been laid and the customer's already paid for it, and this is a new construction, you don't want to cut into his floor or their floor, and you don't want to nick it or anything like that, because then we'll be responsible for replacing that part of the floor. So I just cut around it with the multi-tool, and then I'll check it with my hand to make sure it's flat, and any spots that I see that are kind of raised, we're just going to kind of file those down there a little bit more, just get it down just a little bit deeper because you want it basically flush with the floor. So the trim part that covers the whole hole covers it nice and pretty. So anyway, I'm still cutting, fine-tuning, making sure I do this right and making sure I take my time and don't cut into the guy's new floor. So we'll just trim just a little bit more off here, and then it should be flush enough for the trim piece to go on. So give me just a second. I'm almost done. So I didn't speed this up because I want you to see the process and how I actually do it. I didn't skip any parts aside from the part where I did it before they poured the concrete slab or in the foundation and stuff for this house. This is just the trim out section of it. So I'll have to make a part 1 on how to put the floor boxes in and where they should be. And then I'm cutting my UF cable, my razor knife. Some people do it differently, but you got to have a sharp knife. You cut down right beside that bare hot conductor. Don't cut into it, but you just cut alongside of it, then exposes the wire. And then if you don't do it just right, it'll cut into the neutral or the hot conductor, depending on which side of that bare ground that you're on. So once you can grasp it or grab a hold to the wires, you can pull it free from that thick UF insulation. So anyway, I'm just kind of shaving it off a little bit so I can get to the black, trying not to cut down into the conductor, get it nice and neat so I can pull it away from that UF insulation. And I'll just cut off the extra there. Then just basically, now that I have my 3 conductors available, I'll get them stripped out, put my hooks on them for my receptacle. Also got to make the ground. This plastic box comes with a ground wire, so I had to twist a little ground connection to it. And then I made a pigtail for the receptacle on there. So I used the bare conductor for the ground coming off the UF. That little piece of ground that was on that floor box assembly. And then I added one more little ground so they can all wire nut together nice and neat. And then one will also go for the receptacle. So I have a total of 3 in there. Anyway, just tuck those down in there. Nice and neat. All right, so this is the part where I was talking about that we skipped, okay? Now, I know that technically you're supposed to use PVC glue around the outer edge of that circular part to keep that receptacle nice and secure. However, I asked the homeowner if he thought it would be a good idea not to do this, simply because it's not going to fall down any further than the trim is going to allow. And then if you have to come in and do any work on it or move it or rotate it, if you put PVC glue on it, you will not be able to do that, period. You're just not going to be able to do it. So I understand that you're supposed to put it on there, but like I said, for future, there's no sense in putting. Now, if you just want to put like a little dab or something on there, the reason why is because I've seen where they were completely saturated with PVC glue, and that PVC glue makes a chemical bond with the PVC to PVC with the glue. And I know it seems a little bit confusing, but with that chemical bond, it will not let go, period. And I've seen a lot of floor boxes become extremely damaged trying to work on them and replace them and work on receptacles. I discourage all people from getting these floor boxes. They're convenient, yes, but they're dirt collectors. They're water collectors. They're at the lowest point. Like I said, they are convenient, but then again, they're also a nuisance. So you just kind of weigh out your pros and cons with it and see if it's a right fit for you. But most electricians actually charge a little bit more because of the time it takes to install on the slab, plus the extra material and stuff that it takes. But it's a pretty simple installation on the trim out if you got all your parts laid out and you got the right parts. I put a picture of the trim that I have that I got from our local supply store on the video, so you'll be able to see it and reference it, and then you can get the corresponding floor box before the concrete. But after that, it's all said and done, and it looks good. Everybody's happy. I do a little push down to make sure it's nice and flush with the floor, and boom, it's ready for use. Thanks for watching.